best cannabinoids to get high. In this video, we're going to be talking about the best cannabinoids to get high. And if you don't already know, I stole this video idea from Q-Pins. So before you come at me and say I'm a Q-Pins wannabe, I already said it. I'm copying his video idea. You're welcome. Anyways, so I make a lot of content on hemp Alt-Noids and hemp cannabinoids and legal alternatives because not everyone lives in a legal state. And there's so many of these different cannabinoids: HHC, Delta 10, THCO, Delta 9, THCa, the list goes on. So it can be kind of confusing. And some products in certain categories like flower, like for example, Delta 8 flower might be trash, but Delta 8 vape might be fire. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of nuance to this. So I'm going to just break down the entire tier list and show you exactly what my personal opinion is on, just the ranking on where everything ranks. Okay. And this is the perspective of someone who's been in the hemp industry for half a decade now. I've been smoking for 12 years. I'm more of a casual smoker now. Back in my teenage years, ashamed to admit that I started so early, but I was a very heavy user. Now I just there he is right there. There's Q-Pins that I stole the idea from. But anyways, nowadays I'm more of a casual smoker just because I run a business and I'm attached to $20 million in sales of hemp products, right? And not all of that is, directly to me. That's just other companies that I've been associated with. So I've seen what the market responds to in terms of these products. Like, these people like this product, these type of people like that product. Me personally, I like this product, but I don't like that product. And so I can kind of give you my experience, like over a decade worth of experience of using weed and half a decade in the industry of seeing other people use these products, and tell you what is the best and what's trash and what to avoid. So let's just get started off here. So we have it broken down into multiple categories. So we have the actual cannabinoid, and then we have the method of consumption. Okay, so this is basically, the tier list on steroids here. So now, let's start off with the flower, okay? So first thing we got here is THCa Flower, okay? That's going to have to go in the S tier because that's just weed, bro. For the people that are confused, like the 12-year-olds that are going to come on here that think they know everything, that probably buy fake carts, they're going to be like, oh, bro, THCa ain't that Zaza, bro. That's like freaking sprayed flower, bro. It's like, bro, THCa, don't get it twisted. Before you see all the comments hating, just look it up. THCa is real flower, my guy. You can't beat the real flower. That's why it goes in S tier, okay? And if you don't already know, THCa is created when the weed plant just grows in the ground. So before it converts into real THC, it's in the form of THCa. So the plant's growing, boom, it starts making these THCa crystals, and then when you smoke it, the THCa converts into Delta 9 THC, the real THC, the Zaza, and then that's how you get high, right? If you actually take THCa and if you eat a nug, you won't get high because the THCa hasn't converted into real THC. But THCa flower is federally legal. Technically, all the dispensaries sell THCa flower because technically every dispensary is selling hemp because the Delta 9 percentage, the legal THC limit of all the flowers below 0.3% because it's just in the form of the weed crystals. So it's actually kind of crazy. The best way I can explain it is like, imagine if yellow bananas were marijuana and green bananas were hemp, right? So and then any time you apply heat to the green banana, it turns into a yellow banana. Now it's illegal. So basically all weed is a green banana, and then when you smoke it, it turns into a yellow banana, and then it's illegal. So it's basically legal until you light it. THCa, best product. It's the OG. You can't get any more natural than a THCa bud. It's just weed, bro. Okay. Now, so let's go into some other cannabinoids. Okay, so we've got Delta 10 flower. Let's just start with that. Why not? Delta 10 flower it's trash. It's trash because it's not. Delta 10 flower does not exist in nature. Now, the Delta 10 cannabinoid is present in weed in very, 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 very small percentages, but that's not how Delta 10 flower is made, bro. The way Delta 10 flower is made is they take CBD from CBD flower and then they convert it into Delta 10 using chemistry, right? So they're synthesizing it from a previous ingredient. It's not like they're extracting Delta 10 from the weed directly. They're taking massive amounts of CBD Isolate or CBD Distillate and converting it into Delta 10 using chemistry. And then they take that Delta 10 and they mix it with alcohol, so it's mixed all together. And then they spray it on CBD flower. and basically the reason why they do this is because that's what they used to do, you know, a year or two ago. Now it's all THCa flower, and all the smoke shops just sell the real flower now, because they figured out that the hemp loophole applies to real weed, basically. Excuse me. But yeah, Delta 10 flower, absolute trash. You're just going to get a harsh smoke. It's basically distillate sprayed onto CBD flower or CBG flower. It's just like, you know, it's just, I don't know. If you're crazy, you know, whatever. It's trash, all right? When a lot of people say, oh, Delta 8, Delta 10's trash. Well, bro, you smoke Delta 8 flower, not real, like, fucking Delta 8. But anyways, Delta 10, it is trash. Complete trash. Now, let's go move on to HHC. I mean, it's going to be trash, man. It's sprayed distillate on flower. Like, to be honest, it's... You know what? It just ain't good. D8 goes there too. THC-P flower goes there too. THC-P distillate sprayed on flower. Just all the THCO, all the distillates sprayed on flower. It's just trash. Complete trash. Now, let's move on to CBD flower. Now, a lot of you people are gonna like call me a fucking wuss for this, and I don't care. But I actually really like CBD flower. I'm going to put it in the B category because I have gotten some like fire ass freaking like CBD flower before, like literally like Zaza CBD, bro. And like, to be honest, like this is like a really underrated morning routine because like I'm a business owner, right? I can't be fucking stoned working, like running a company. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I need to keep my mind straight. So what I like to do is, so I get my cup of coffee, I sit on my porch, I'm like fucking shirtless, the sun's like coming down on me, I'm getting my vitamin D in, and then I light a fucking CBD joint of that Zaza CBD with like no THC in it, and it's just like you get the craziest like euphoric buzz, you know what I mean? It's not that THC like you're like, whoa, it's like, you know when you're focused on THC, your focus just... It's like here, boom, 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 boom. With CBD, you could like feel the dopamine like just like firing off that much faster because I think it mixes with the caffeine or something, and it feels like an enhanced version of coffee, like enhances it, and you just feel like super fucking euphoric and like motivated. So like I really like using CBD flower in the morning with my coffee. Now that's just me as a like an older 27-year-old dude who's just like, you know, has a low tolerance. But, you know, it's, if you need to focus in the daytime, you could even like fucking light up some CBD joints of some good CBD flower like during work and stuff and still be good. You get a nice little buzz off it. It's almost like equivalent to a cigarette buzz in a way, what the best way I can describe it. You know what I mean? So definitely don't sleep on CBD. It has its place, you know, CBD flower. CBG flower is basically the same deal as CBD. Now, CBG is interesting. It has a slightly more uplifting effect. Now, both CBD and CBG flower are really good for mixing with THCa flower or just weed, because it can tend to give it a more balanced effect. And what I mean by that is like you're not blasted off your fucking ass. You know what I'm saying? Like for me personally, I have a low tolerance. I only really smoke on the weekends or when I'm with my like friends and whatnot. You know, smoke up in the garage, listen to some fucking music. And I find I don't smoke every day. So like if I smoke some like fire 26% THCa flower, I'm only taking 1 or 2 hits. And like I might be good for another 30 minutes. I might not need to fucking smoke anymore for like an hour or something. You know what I mean? So if I mix some CBD or CBG in there that has like awesome fucking flavor, you know, and really good terpenes, it's grown really well, cured really well, like that can be a really nice mix with the THC flower to like kind of dumb down the potency And then also, you get a really good effect off of it where you're chilling. You don't have as much paranoia. At least that's what I find for me. So those are kind of just some use cases for those. Okay. So let's move on to edibles next. Okay. So let's start with Delta 9, because Delta 9 THC, that is the real THC that gets you high. So it's got to go in S tier. It's the real deal. Like, you can't compare any of this semi-synthetic, partially synthetic, fully synthetic shit. You can't compare it because it's the real thing. You know what I mean? If literal weed was legal, we would not have any of these alt cannabinoids. None of it. It would just be like, no one would really care about it. No one would care it existed. They'd just be like all on the real weed stuff. You know what I mean? Which is how it was before the 2018 Farm Bill. You never really heard about Delta 8 and Delta blah, blah, blah. Delta this, THC-P, blah, 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 blah. It's just no one heard about that. So Delta 9, it's the real freaking weed, dude. It's real. So, and just a refresher, when you smoke THCa flower, it converts into Delta 9. Okay? THCa is the acidic precursor to Delta 9 THC, which is the real THC. And what's great about the Delta 9 is, you can also, it's also a legal hemp product as long as you dilute it. Like, let's say you have a 6-gram gummy times 0.3% of the legal limit. That's still 18 milligrams of THC that you can legally fit in a 6-gram gummy. So it's just like, it's just weed is legal already. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. So it's just like the hemp law literally made the best products legal. Literal weed and literal THC are legal because of hemp. So, yeah, kind of crazy. So let's move on to the Alt-Noids. Okay, D8, I gotta give it A just because it's just so iconic. Like, first, when the hemp industry first started in 2018, we only had really CBD edibles. It was like, oh yeah, CBD, like, weed is kind of legal but barely, and can we make something happen with this? And then D8 was like, boom, now you can get high, motherfucker. Now you can get fucking baked everywhere in the country. And it was just such a fucking game changer. It's so iconic. And fun fact, when you eat Delta 8, it converts into like Delta 11 hydroxy something, which is like the same thing as Delta 9. So it's like you're basically getting the same effect edible wise with Delta 8 versus Delta 9. The only downside of Delta 8 is the way it's created. Because basically what they do, like I said earlier, is they extract CBD distillate from the CBD flower, and then they use chemistry and put it in a reactor and apply radiation and put different ingredients in there. And then it converts into Delta 8 THC using this chemistry. And who knows if the laboratory that, converted the CBD into Delta 8 is actually a safe process. It's skeptical. That goes with all of these cannabinoids, right? That's why THC and Delta 9 are the best, because it's just the least adulterated product with the least amount of, extra chemicals that you need to make these products, right? So Delta 8 still super iconic, still works really well. It's just, there are really good labs that convert CBD to Delta 8 and do it in a really clean way. So I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that, it does have that process. So you get some bad actors. Delta 10, I don't know, man. It's got to go in C for me, because every time I see Delta 10, it's never pure Delta 10. It's always like mixed with like something else. You know what I mean? So I've never seen like a pure Delta 10 gummy. And it's like, and the labs have trouble testing it actually, because like they have these like peaks in the graph of the way they test it. I'm not a lab expert, so I couldn't tell you, but apparently like it's so close to Delta 8 that they can't like really fucking test for it that well anyways or something. So I'm just like, I'm skeptical about like every time I've tried Delta 10, I just feel the same as Delta 8. It's just, at this point, Delta 10 is Delta 8. I could be wrong. Some people, I think when people like fucking say, I think all these Alt-Noids, it's just, they get you all fucking high and it's hard to tell the difference, to be honest. But I'm just talking about the processes and my experience. So, take it with a grain of salt. Everyone's different. Anyways, let's move on to HHC. Now, HHC is an interesting one. I'm going to have to put it in... Honestly, I'm torn between A and B. I would say it's going to have to be A for me. No, you know what? I'll keep it in B, all right? So here's why. So HHC has a really good physical effect, okay? So HHC... What I do like about it is that the states that have banned Delta 8 and Delta 10 and all these THC, because Delta 8 THC, Delta 10 THC, you know, the total THC states that closed the hemp loophole have not closed HHC, because the hemp law in the states, they're like, oh, you know, the federal farm bill legalized all these alternative forms of THC. Now we're going to change our state hemp law to say hemp equals to 0.3% all forms of THC, but HHC is not THC. So like literally it gets around all of those restrictions, and now you can still sell and purchase HHC in almost every state, right? It's actually kind of crazy. And the same thing goes for Delta 9, by the way, because like I said, you make those gummies as below 0.3%. So edibles like kind of get around the whole closing of the loophole. Anyways, you still get around it, but HHC really gets around it because it's not even a THC at all. It's a HHC, and it's crazy because in Europe, bro, like their hemp law is like 0.2% total THC. So now I'm seeing like these crazy, like they're selling HHC in Bulgaria and like all these other like fucking Russia. I don't think Russia actually, but like these other like countries, they're selling Germany, they're selling like HHC now, like, and apparently legally because it's not THC and it's considered hemp. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Europe, so I'm not qualified, but I've seen Europe's been going crazy with HHC. So I like that. The downside of HHC that I don't like, that is stopping it from going in the A category, is literally that it's a hydrogenated chemical. So like basically if you think about like soybean oil, right? Soybean oil is an oil they put in a lot of food, and it's like carcinogenic and shit. So basically what they do is they add these extra hydrogen atoms or something like that to make it more shelf stable, and it's like actually more dangerous to our bodies because it's like a trans fat or something. So when I hear HHC is a hydrogenated THC in a way or something, it makes me feel like it's more damaging to our bodies. But I mean, the effect is there. It's a great product for the consumer. It's just, I get skeptical. Otherwise it would be an A. Now, CBD, complete placebo effect. Okay. CBD is completely placebo. Same thing with CBG on the edibles. Every time I've taken edibles with that, it's just complete placebo. Now THC-P, reconsider your life decisions, man. It's THC-P, man. It's 30 times stronger than real THC. Like, what are you doing, bruh? Like, bruh, like, do you really need to? Like, do you want to be the first person to have a heart attack from weed and die? Like, just chill, dude. Just, you don't need to do all that. And it's fucking synthetic, and I don't think it's naturally occurring in nature. It's just like, it's just sus, bro. I would not. THCO, a lot of people like it. I put it in C just because it's all right. You know, it's acetylated THC. It's very also kind of suspicious because it's, you know, synthetic and whatnot, and I don't think it's naturally occurring in nature either. So, and for edibles, it seems to work fine. You know what I mean? But yeah, just THCO. I mean, I would put THCO in reconsider your life decisions, but I mean, a lot of people have used it and seem to really love it, and I've used it myself. Oh my god, like, it gets me way too fucked up. But you know, we'll keep it in C. Okay, so let's move on to vapes. Okay, so let's start with Delta 10. It's got to go in C. Just, I've never seen good Delta 10. I've never seen pure Delta 10. That's just like only Delta 10. It's not mixed with Delta 8, not a mixed blend HHC with CBD, with this, with that. Like, I've never seen pure Delta 10. And whenever I do take Delta 10, it just feels the same. So I'm just like, I don't know. There was a lot of hype around it 2 years ago, and the hype is pissing me off. Now let's do Delta 8 next. Delta 8 is just, you know what? I want to put an A because it's so iconic, because it like kicked off the hemp industry. But honestly, it's really thick and harsh. It's going in C. It's just Delta 8 can be great, but it is a very thick distillate. It could be harsh on your throat unless you have really good, like a really good disposable with like a low heat setting, and it can like roast it at the perfect temperature. I've just seen a lot of cart manufacturers get it wrong, and it just, you fucking heat up the cart with the battery, it's too hot, and then you start burning the coil, and then, you maybe got to put it in, I don't know, it just gets fucking tricky, dude. Like, it's too thick, bro. Now Delta 9 vapes, it's S, bro. It's just it's the best. It's the real thing. You know what I'm saying? Now there are no such thing as Delta 9 vapes in the hemp industry, just because it would be over 0.3% for sure in a distillate form. But it's definitely, the best quality. Most people get Delta 9 vapes either from the dispensary or from the black market. The black market is definitely not recommended. I would 100% recommend a Delta 8 vape that's lab tested on a full panel lab test over a black market Delta 9, but that's just my opinion. I believe the Delta 8 vape in that case would be safer. All right, HHC. I would put it in B. It's actually got a smoother consistency to it. I would say the viscosity of it, meaning like the thickness of the oil, is a little bit less, so it vapes a little bit easier, and it's pretty smooth. And the effects are there. Honestly, HHC is great. Like, you get a good HHC disposable, it hits pretty nice. So I would see HHC, knowing what we've told you about earlier about HHC being a partially hydrogenated oil. It's a B. It's fine. Just make sure it's lab tested. You know what I mean? Make sure you got a full panel lab test on it. THC-P, reconsider your life decisions, bro. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, that's too much, bro. 30 times stronger than regular THC. Like, you don't need to be doing all that, bro. You don't need to be doing all that. It's too much. THCO, honestly, I don't really like THCO because it's like pretty synthetic. But it is very smooth, dude. Like, oh my God, like THCo distillate, very, very smooth, very like hot dog water cartridge consistency. Like, the oil moves real fast. And like, for any of those like fake cart experts, identify a fake cart. They'll like look at the cart and like analyze it, like how fast is the liquid going? You know what I'm saying? But and like, if the liquid goes too fast, then it's fake. It's like, bro, THCO naturally is like has a like viscosity that's just very light, so it moves real fast. So, and that can be, and it's just smooth on the throat. I don't know what it is. I just found it to be smooth. So, CBD, honestly, placebo effect, but honestly, I've had good experience with CBD vapes. It's like chill for vaping on. If you can get a good CBD disposable that just has really good flavor, it's just like for funsies, you know what I mean? When you're working and you don't want to get fucked up, it gives you like that buzz effect of the CBD flower I was telling you earlier. Like, when you pair it with coffee and you just puff on a CBD disposable, it's a nice little buzz. It's almost like a little cigarette buzz in a way. It's very like calming, but we'll just put it in placebo effect because honestly, the CBD flower is way better than the CBD vape. And yeah, we'll just leave it in placebo, to be honest. Same thing with the CBG vape. It's just, it ain't it. It ain't it, to be honest. All right, what should we move on to next? Let's move on to dabs. So THCa, honestly, it's trash. THCa Diamonds, they're just trash, bro. They literally, they're stripped 100% of all like taste. And they honestly like taste, it's like chemically, dude. It's like imagine you're taking like the weed and concentrating it so fucking potent into a fucking diamond, dude, and then it's like a fucking crack rock, dude. Like, it's just too much, dude. A crack rock, basically. It's just, and it has no flavor. It ain't good. Now let's talk about, this is, I don't know if this is hard to see, but Delta 9 dabs you can get all different kinds of these different consistencies, because when you press the flower, you could do rosin, you could do BHO, you could do CO2, you can make all these different consistencies, and there's just so much versatility with it. It's like it's S, bro. It's the real deal, bro. Now, you can't really do this with hemp. THCa Diamonds, that is a legal hemp product because the THC is so concentrated. It's like 99.9% THCa, but there's no Delta 9 in it. So it ends up, obviously it turns into Delta 9 when you smoke it, but the flavor's not there. You know, it's literally just straight THC, where the Delta 9, when you press the flower with rosin or something like that, or make some sauce out of it, you're actually getting some of the plant matter, not necessarily the plant matter, but components of the plant matter, like the terpenes and the flavor, and it just makes for a more natural experience, you know what I'm saying? It's not like straight diamonds, bro. It's just, that's too much, bro. Now, so same thing for CBG, CBD Dabs, I mean, very versatile, you can make a lot of different stuff. I'll say we'll put it in B just for funsies, just because it's cool, you know what I'm saying? Like props that you can make cool stuff out of CBD flower into dabs, but it's just, to be honest, it's placebo effect. But it's a B if you want to do it for funsies and troll your friends and pretend to get them high, and then, oh, dude, I'm high, and then like they don't feel anything actually, and then you tell them, oh, it's just CBD, bro, and they're like, what? And then they never trust you again. Same thing with CBG. Like, just, you know what? They're both going in placebo, man. They're honestly dabbing CBD and CBG. It's just like, it's cool, bro. Like props, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it ain't it. Now, THCa mixed with CBD or CBG sauce. Now that's it, bro. Now, cause like this THCa, remember I said it has no flavor, dude. So like you gotta melt this shit down and mix it with some of this stuff right here, and then you get like a saucy, like, you know, consistency. You get that flavor, you know what I'm saying? So like honestly, A tier for if you can mix the THCa Diamonds with some CBD concentrate and get a nice blend, like that would work really fucking well, dude. Now, Delta 8 Dabs, honestly trash. Delta 10 Dabs, trash. HHC Dabs, trash. THC-P Dabs, it's trash. Also reconsider your life decisions. THC-O Dabs, trash. You know what I mean? It's just trash, bro. It's literally all it is. It's just distillate mixed with terpenes. Literally just distillate mixed with terpenes. Like, bro, it's, I don't know. It's like at that point, just throw it in the vape and vape it. Like, why are you dabbing it out of a rig? Like, there's so many variables that can go wrong with the rig. The rig's too fucking hot, and like you fucking burn your throat. Like, honestly, the rigs are more dangerous on your throat than the vapes, in my opinion. At least the vapes, you get it at the right temperature. You know what I mean? The biggest danger for your lungs is the high temperature, to my knowledge. So, you know, just, they're trash, bro. Trash. Now we'll get into the distillates. Okay. Now, Delta 9 distillate. It's going to go in it's honestly B tier. Because, like, distillates are just it's like the low-hanging fruit of the weed industry. It's like the hot dogs of the weed industry. You know, like for the hot dogs, they take all the pork, the leftover pork trimmings and the beef trimmings and the chicken random organs and stuff, and then they blend it all up, and then they make a fucking bunch of hot dogs with it. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're doing with Delta 9 distillate. They're taking all the biomass of weed and then distilling it, and then now you've got this oil that's really could be decently strong, doesn't have any flavor at all. So when you look at this oil, it literally has no flavor. So when you're talking about these dabs here, they have no flavor, and they have to add the terpenes, which are the taste and smell, right? And then they have to add it back into those dabs. So Delta 9 distillate, it's a B. You know what I mean? It has its purpose, and its purpose is for filling vape carts. I know it's like a little weird to have the distillate in B, but the vape into S, because honestly, with the distillate, you can make some really dope disposables, some really dope blends. Like I've seen blends like where they take like these almost like e-cigarette nicotine flavors like mint or banana and all these different things, and they blend it with the distillate, and it's almost like a candy vape. It's like really, really delicious. You know what I mean? So in those cases, it would go in S once it's in vape form. But in just straight distillate, I mean, yeah, you could use it in edibles. You know what I mean? It just really depends how you use it. But it is considered typically a lower product, just by industry standards. Now, Delta 8, it'll go in the same category. It's just Delta 8. Delta 8's going to be 66% as strong as Delta 9. But it's great for making carts, great for making edibles, great for whatever. Delta 10, you're going in C, bro. Just, I don't know. I'm skeptical about that one. HHC, we'll put it in B. It's fine. Depends on what you do with it, right? Make carts with it, make edibles with it. CBD, bro, honestly, we'll put it in C. CBD, I mean, if you take some distillate and just eat some straight distillate of CBD, like, you'll feel something. I made these like 1,000 milligram CBD Rice Krispie treats one time, and it was a weird feeling, to be honest. There was definitely some THC in there, but I was like really floaty all day, and like almost like my brain stopped working, but I was like, I could work though. It was like really weird. So I don't know. So the distillate will do something. The CBD distillate is like potent enough to do something. So it's cool, you know. CBG, I don't know. It's just placebo effect. I don't really know. I mean, I've never tried it, to be honest, but if I did try some, I'm sure it'd be in C. CBD and CBG are generally in the same category. THC-P, bro. Honestly, bro, reconsider your life decisions, man. Like, it's just some sketchy shit, bro. Like, you might as well be smoking spice at that point. Like, what? I don't know, man. It's weird. THCO, yeah, it's a C. You know what I mean? It's fine. At least it's a smooth hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, here's the last one, guys. You know, here's the last one. It's CBD Isolate. Just trash. What are you gonna do with that? I mean, you could smoke it, put it in edibles. It could be in C, I guess, but I'd prefer CBD distillate over isolate. I don't know. CBD distillate trash. CBG isolate trash. I don't know. I mean, placebo effect. We could be nice to them. Let's put them in placebo effect. But there you have it. There is the cannabinoids tier list. It's all there. This is just my opinion. It could be different for you. Maybe it is, but as someone in the industry, those are my opinions. I've covered, how it's made, the different user experiences and different effects and whatnot. So hope you enjoyed that video. Subscribe for more and click the link in the pinned comments or the link in the description down below, and you can actually get a free gift from my company. So go ahead and check that out, and I hope to see you next time.